Hi, in this video I'm going to make an Easter card. This card features a little die cut bunny which is peeking out from behind some daisies that I created using two Fiskars punches. The daisies have a little pink brad as a center. Inside the card there's another bunny peeking out, which I've done a little bit of watercoloring for both bunnies. This card goes together very quick and it uses a minimum of supplies, and you can recreate this daisy with other punches or if you had embellishments pre-made. Alright, let me go over the materials that this card uses. To start off with, I have a card base which is cut 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. I have a kraft mat cut 5 1/4 by 4, a white panel cut 5 by 3 3/4, a piece of pattern cardstock which is cut 4 by 3 3/4. You could choose any pattern paper that you had which coordinates. A white square 3 inches, a black square 3 inches. You could just be estimated, you just need to be around this range, and a long white strip. I just cut 2 inches off a piece of 11-inch paper, and I need some green scrap. I don't need this much, but this is what I had. The stamp sets I'm using today are the Stampin Up Basket Builder, framelits, and the Stampin Up Basket Bunch stamp set. I also have a Hampton Art stamp which just says Easter. I have no-name stamp sets that I got from the dollar bin for more extra sentiments. And as I mentioned, I'm using the Basket Builder framelits. I keep my framelits by putting them on magnetic adhesive paper backed on cardstock to give it more firmness. And the basket comes in 2 pieces, which is a handle and the basket itself. And I have the little bunny. You could of course cut the bunny out by hand, but it's easier to use the framelit. I'm also using some punches. I have a leaf punch from, I think this is Fiskars, and 2 E-Cake Success punches. One is a 2 1/4 inch, one is 2 1/2 inch, and 2 Fiskars daisy punches. One's large and one's small. I also needed a hole puncher. This is 1/18. And I have to get 2 brads for the centers of the daisies. I'm also going to be doing watercoloring. I have a pink, a gray, and a blue. The bunny is white, but you still need to give him a little bit of color so it doesn't look so bland. I'm using Lilac Posies, Sweet Plum, Memento ink, and Versafine Onyx Black. I also need a small bit of ribbon. I believe this is a 1/2 inch ribbon. And I have some embellishments that I got from the dollar store. These are butterflies, of course, and they're sparkly and metallic looking. I frequently go in the dollar store because you can often find lots of embellishments, and you can't beat the price of $1. I will list all of the materials that I use in the comment section below so you can refer to it if you want to create this card yourself. And since I'll be doing watercoloring, I need my aqua pen. So let me clear this stuff up. Let me get started making the daisies. I take the larger of the daisy punches and I punch out 4 of the large daisies. I'm going to be making 2 flowers in total. And then I take the smaller punch and I punch out two of the smaller daisies. You could have used different numbers of the punches, but I thought that this number gave a good blending, a good thickness to it. The best thing to do is to take the two larger daisies, stack them up together, and then using the hole punch, carefully get as close to the center as you can and punch a hole. And then do the same thing for the smaller one. Once I have the holes punches, I'm going to stack the daisies up with the brad. At this point, turn it over, take your bone folder, and bend the petals back to make the flower look more realistic. Be gentle so that you don't break the paper, but you just go around the entire width of the daisy, bending it back until it gives a little bit of dimension. After I do that, I fan the petals out and press the prongs of the daisy. I'm going to speed up the second daisy because it's the same technique. Now that I have my daisies made, I'm taking in my big roll of foam tape and I'm putting a square of foam tape on the back of the daisies. Now I'm going to set those aside, and taking the green scrap, I'm going to punch out the leaves. This leaf punch I have is rather clunky. It's not my favorite, but it was a good size for the daisies. Now I'm taking the white square and the black square and punching the circles that I'm going to need. The smaller punch is for the white square. Make sure that you punch on the right side of the paper because you'll need to leave room to stamp the bunny. The black square is the 2.5 inch circle punch. Now I'm going to stamp the bunny on the remaining white paper using my Versafine Onyx Black. I have a cloth set in a bowl and I'm using my handmade stamp cleaner so that I can clean my stamps. If you check my channel, I have a video on how to make the stamp cleaner. The sentiment that I have on the front of the card, I'm stamping that in the Memento Sweet Plum. I thought it would be nice to bring a little bit more color to the front of the card. And I'm stamping it to the right and upward a little bit to allow room for the bunny. And now to tape the two circles together and set that aside. And now I'm bringing in my Misty tool and I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the inside panel. The best part about using the Misty is if you don't get a good impression on your first stamping, your stamp is still in the same place. You can stamp again immediately right over it. But I got it good the first time. So I decided I wanted a bunny on the inside of the card also, so I just quickly inked that with the Versafine and stamped it to the bottom. I didn't realize that my camera had adjusted, so it's off screen. I'm sorry for that. But it's basically just stamp the bunny and you're good. And now I'm going to do the watercoloring. As I mentioned, this is a white bunny, but having it just be plain white, it looks kind of blah. So I'm going to go over it with the gray, making sure that I'm allowing shading coming from the left. And I'm also going to put a little pink in the inside of the ears and the tail, and the bow on the bunny will be blue. I'll speed this part up. And then the next step is to take my aqua pen and blend out the colors, using a paper towel to clean the brush between colors. Now that I've finished the watercoloring and I'm pretty sure it's dry enough, I'm going to take the die cut of the bunny and line it up on the paper, making sure that the bunny is not being cut off, and take it to my Big Shot and die cut it out. If you didn't have this die cut set, you could use a pair of scissors and fussy cut around it. To keep it from moving, you could tape the die cut down, but I tend not to do that. And there's the bunny. Also, since I have a magnetic platform, it's a lot easier to work without taping the bunny. So I'm putting a little bit of foam tape on the back of the bunny so he'll pop up. Now some more card assembly. Taking the pattern paper, I'm going to tape it down to the kraft panel. I'm allowing room at the bottom for the sentiment. Now I'm taking the ribbon and I'm going to tape it across the seam of the two papers. I find the best way that for me to put ribbon on is to put a little tape runner on the back of the ribbon, and then I can put the ribbon in place and then tack it to the back with some more tape. If you don't get it straight, you can still move it a little bit as long as you don't press it too hard. Usually I do the inside panel first before the outside panel, but this time I did it the opposite way. I just took my foam folder, pressed the seam on the card base, and attached the front panel to the card. Now the leaves are going to be poking out from behind the daisies, so I'm guessing about where I want it to go by looking at the original card and putting them on the card front. I'm using the Tombow glue because that gives me a little bit of time to adjust it if I need to, whereas if I use the tape runner, I'd have to be pretty accurate. And the circle, I'm going to put that down flat with the Tombow also. I don't want too many things popping up off the card. And then I realized that one of the leaves was too far south. So that's the beauty of using Tombow. Now I'm putting my sentiment on the bottom card with the Versafine. It probably would have been better to do that before I put the panel on in case I got that wrong. But live and learn. Now the daisies, I need to allow enough room for the bunny to poke out. But I also want to make sure that I cover the stems of the leaves. So I apply them just to the lower left side of the circle. Taking one last chance to spread the leaves out a little bit. And the bunny, just pull off the paper and tuck him right behind the daisies. And the last embellishment is to put the butterfly on. It is adhesive back and it just pops right into place. Now to put the panel in, I decided to add a little bit of sparkle to the bunny's bow. You don't see too much of it, but it's nice. And I also gave him a little sparkle to his ears. And that's the finished card. It went together really quick. This was a rather short video. You can recreate flowers with any punches that you have. You don't have to rely on just these daisy punches. And any brad centers would be nice. Maybe you could consider making sunflowers with brown and yellow. And I thought that this was a nice touch, very simple, and I really like the little bunny. So please, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you and have a good day. Take care.